What's going on, my Guardian gamers? Birdman back here with yeah, kind of an update build, or like somewhat sort of a does this still work, is this still like the most meta thing out there style video, and that's going to be covering the bonk build. Now the solar bonk build has been a huge one in Destiny 2, especially for Titans for the longest time, for the ridiculous melee damage it's able to provide while also taking advantage of great perks like 1-2 punch and exotics like the tractor cannon. But before I get into the video, now you can follow me over on YouTube and Twitter at Birdman778. Give a thumbs up on this video, comment something you're interested in seeing down below, whether it's Titan, Warlock, or Hunter. Subscribe to the channel and also become a member. Now let's swing right on into this. Now, if you're going to be setting up a bonk build with Titan, obviously the one exotic that you need armor wise is going to be the Synthoceps. These are, I mean, damn near probably the #1 exotic for Titans. If not this, it's going to be something like the Heart of Inmost Light, but its armor perk reads bionic enhancements, increased melee lunge range, improved melee and super damage when you're surrounded. Now, do you know that this is actually going to be changing here in season 23, going into, you know, the final shape and everything? It's going to actually just be the improved melee and super, and then you're also going to get like airborne effectiveness and stuff like that, and they're taking away the increased melee lunge, which is pretty freaking awful. I really do like these. It's mainly because of PvP, which can we get a F all the PvP people in the comments down below? Just kidding, we love you, but you are ruining all the stuff for PvE. Anyway, these are just absolutely stupid strong, an absolute must, and actually I think you can get a free pair of these if you have not gotten them yet by doing one of the exotic quests for Ikora Ray. I believe it is the solar one. So if, again, you're a new light player, make sure you're snagging one of these. For the subclass, for the Sunbreaker specifically, super wise really doesn't matter. I'm a big fan of Hammer Soul just because of all the sunspots we're able to create. Abilities wise, it really doesn't matter for the first 2 slots, but you clearly absolutely need to be throwing hammer. Big reason why this got even better with solar 3.0 is for the fact that whenever you throw that hammer, you get cure. You are healed with a burst of mending solar light, so you're able to constantly just heal from just throwing this and picking it back up. So that is really huge, again, especially in the point blank attacks against people. It is really juicy. For the grenade, I just went with healing grenade because I don't really think we need much of anything else besides this. For the most part, the only time I'm ever in a sticky situation, I can just chuck it on the ground, get a big burst of restoration and cure real fast, not really have to worry about anything else. Aspect wise, you're gonna definitely want Soul Invictus. Your solar ability Final Blows, Hammer Soul impacts, and defeating scorched targets create sunspots, and your ability recharge faster, and your super drains more slowly when standing in a sunspot. And the sunspots apply Scorch and deal damage to targets inside of them. Entering a Scorch applies Restoration. So this adds a huge thing to this setup for the fact that I can just throw this and hit a basic thrall. A sunspot's going to pop up, and I'm going to be able to get plenty of healing from Restoration, also from cure from picking back up our hammer. So you're just constantly healing with this build. It is really, really nice, and I'm just a big fan of just the sunspots in general. It's like almost like an ability version of like the Wither Horde, which is one of my favorite exotics in the entire game. So kind of having those like little spots of damage that not only heal you but also kind of block out enemies is really great. You're also absolutely going to want Roaring Flames for the fact that Final Blows to solar abilities, which is your hammer, or ignitions, increase the damage of your solar abilities. So your hammer is just going to gain even more damage as we go through with it. It is just freaking juicy, man. Fragment wise, I recommend Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. Now this one is an absolute must if you were setting up this build, for the fact that you need that radiant, because 1, it's going to increase the damage of your weapons. 2 of them that we're using are really nice to have, but also the fact that it's going to give you that chance to stun barrier champions. All you have to do is just power melee attacks. It doesn't even says kill. You just have to be able to hit somebody. So you can even just hit the barrier knight themselves and you're going to become radiant, which means as soon as they pop up their bubble, you can swap over to like just a, you know, an SMG or something like that. I don't know, random. That doesn't specifically mean a certain weapon, just any weapon, and start stunning them from that point on, and then you can just hit them with the hammer the rest of the time and they're gone. Remember, a Solus, radiant and restoration effects applied to you have increased duration. We like this just for the fact that, you know, it's just going to keep up that restoration, that radiant, keep up that extra barrier stunning, and also the health regen that we're going to get from restoration, especially with all the different sunspots we're going to be walking in with this build. Ember of Char, your Solar Ignitions spread Scorch. This one's just kind of like an addition. I really didn't know what else to put on here. You can put something on here, such as, Ember of Benevolence. That would be a really solid one, because it's going to create your grenade in melee whenever you add that to teammates, but it's just really not that important. And finally, Ember of Empyrean. Solar weapon and ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. Again, just keeping those restoration and radiant stacks going and going and going. Again, you don't really need to worry about a lot of weapon stuff or grenade energy or anything like that with this setup. It is mainly around keeping yourself alive, having your hammer in hand, and just bonking the hell out of people. Weapon wise, for setups like this, I definitely recommend having a shotgun with 1-2 punch on it. I got this one small step that you can get on the moon doing some of the Eris side quests from Shadowkeep. It is definitely an absolute juicer in my mind. It's auto loading, so I can just swap over it real fast, pump that 1-2 punch into them, and then just enjoy the extra damage my melee is going to have from there. I also have a Callus mini tool, just great for incandescent, spreading Scorch around, stuff like that. But the important exotic that I would say for this, if you're doing a bonk build, is going to be Tractor Cannon. Why? Its intrinsic trait, the weapon emits a powerful impulse that pushes enemies away, suppresses their abilities, and makes them more vulnerable to incoming damage. So it's going to debuff targets that it hits. It is really nice. Also against something like an Overload champion, because Overload take a stun from getting weakened, so this is going to really help out for that. In the scientific method, damaging an opponent temporarily increases speed and handling. So just pop this a couple times. If you get the catalyst for it, you're going to get more ammo for this. It's just a really great debuffing weapon for that close quarters battling that we're going to be doing with this setup. For how you're going to want to set up mods for this setup, so first off, on your helmet, I recommend double hands on, for the fact that you're pretty much just running around, just you doing melee attacks and stuff like that. So juice up your super that way, and then a solar siphon so that you're able to take advantage of your Callus mini tool, something like that. Just a solar weapon in general. I wouldn't say this is an absolute must. You can change this pretty much out for anything, but I would say the 2 hands on are a important addition to this. On our gloves, impact induction and momentum transfer, that good yin yang there to just constantly help get you your healing grenade back as much as humanly possible. And then I wouldn't really say the momentum transfer is all that necessary. You can swap it out for something like boltering detonation, or even just like a fastball, something like that. I don't know, that one's kind of just like up in the air, but a heavy-handed would absolutely be a decent one, for the fact that you're going to get orbs for throwing your hammer around. On our chest piece, I just go triple concussive dampener. There's really nothing else in here that we need. We're not doing anything with armor charges in this build, so not really a must in my opinion. So having that, maybe you could swap out one of these for like a melee damage resistance, just because you're going to be close quarters all the time, but it really doesn't matter. You're going to have some really great overall health regen and just damage reduction with this setup. On our boots, I decided to go with some absolutions. Really solid to have, just for getting those cooldowns whenever you get orbs of power, since we're going to be constantly throwing our hammer around, getting orbs from that. It will absolutely juice these. And then finally, on our Titan Mark, double distribution for activating our class ability around people. We're going to get that cooldown, and also powerful traction to pull in all those orbs whenever we do so. For this setup, the artifact doesn't really do a whole lot for us, in my opinion. But something like communal pickups, refreshing pickups, elemental fury, definitely elemental fury, for getting that extra damage against champions is an absolute must. I like something like elemental munitions, so that we get some more ammo for our tractor cannon, and then monochromatic maestro if you're just like constantly feeling like shooting your solar weapon. Typically, I'd let you know what you need to swap in and out for this build, but I think this is kind of locked in, an absolute must for all these. Again, I would probably say your legendary weapons, the side here, would be the only things that you really need to swap in and out. But other than that, it is pretty locked in with this. So is bonk build still the absolute meta? It is. You can pretty much go into any content, even if it doesn't match this solar setup. You can go into something where, Void Surge and Strand Surge and not matching any of your champion mods, anything like this, and it's going to absolutely just decimate everybody. It is still probably one of the strongest builds out there in the game, and it's definitely one that I take into most day ones of anything, just for the fact that I know that I'm going to be able to handle everything. I would say the only thing that really compares to at this point on Titan is something like Strand. I'm still a big Void simp, so I'm always going to want that to do well, but this is just kind of stupid. It's super juicy, it's super wonderful, and it gets everything done that you need to do. But thanks so much for watching the video. Hope you guys really enjoy it. Make sure you're following me over on YouTube and Twitter at Birdman778. Liking the video, commenting something you're interested in seeing down below, becoming a member and subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much, everybody. Hope you have a great night, day, whatever it may be.